Welcome to the channel. Welcome to Banter in the Box, episode 45, game week 1 review. The season is underway. We've got 1 week under our belt. What a game week it's been as well, both on and off the pitch. Big scores, some low scores, great stuff going on off the pitch, which I'm going to share with you in a moment. 2 managers have already gone in the transfer market in game week 1. The Big Knobs manager, Simon Hoxby, and Luck, where's the K, Williams, manager of Wanvaron FC, also went into the transfer market. Now, Luck didn't read the rules, so he didn't pick a captain. So therefore, his goalkeeper was made captain, and his goalkeeper didn't play. So he felt he needed to make a change. And there would have been 3 managers making a transfer this week. Clockhouse Rangers manager, great Uncle George, made a transfer at 1:03 today. George, if you'd made it at 63 minutes earlier, by noon today, it would have come into effect immediately. But because you didn't make it till 1:03, it doesn't come into effect till next week. But, as I say, 2 managers in game week 1 going into the transfer market. Incredible. We've got a packed show this week. A new format, winners and losers. Obviously, there's always a weekly winner, but it's more than just getting a weekly win that makes you a game week winner. So I'm going to be sharing the game week winners, but I'm far more excited to share the game week losers with you in a new segment. What's in a name is coming up. I've also got a video of the week. Why didn't we think of this before? A manager has sent me in a video this week, which is fantastic. Predictor Challenge review. Now, every year we do the Predictor Challenge. If you're watching this video on the same day that it's posted onto the Family Fantasy Football League YouTube channel, then you still have time to enter the Predictor Challenge. Friday is the cut-off day. 7 managers have so far taken up the challenge. I'm going to be reviewing their predictions. And then I've got the normal manager of the season update. So first of all, the game week 1 winners. Take a bow. The Creed Bratton Society's Mad Hatter, who took the opening weekly win of the season, set a reasonably impressive highest weekly total, 89 points, I think, from memory. And it's the first time since the 24th of January 2019 that the Mad Hatter has tasted life at the top of the Family Fantasy Football League. So he's definitely a game week 1 winner. And also this pair, Ostrich Bar Stewards manager Steve Maloney starts the season 3rd in the table. You have to go back 4 years, 31st of August 2017, the last time Steve Maloney was that high in the table. But his wife's not doing too bad either. No happy endings manager Di Maloney in her 2nd season struggled in her debut season, as most debut managers do. Started this season in 9th, the highest ever position Di has occupied in the Family Fantasy Football League. Never the Boys manager Jack Hoxby has started the season 7th, the highest Jack has been since the 18th of October 2019. And I'm pretty pleased with myself after game week 1. 8th in the table. I haven't been that high since the 11th of October 2018. And Finger-in-Ho Rangers manager Ryan Perrin may have an awful team name, but he's 10th in the table, which is the highest Ryan's been since the 24th of January 2019. Can you sustain it this year, Ryan? He never has done before. In 11th spot, great Uncle George Moody may have felt he needed to dive into the transfer market, albeit it isn't coming in till game week 2. But he started the season in 11th place, which is pretty good. His highest position since the 23rd of May 2019. And our final game week 1 winner is returning manager, Norfolk and Chance FC manager Angela Addis, who starts the season 14th in the table. Now, admittedly, Angela's had a few years out of the Family Fantasy Football League, but it's still impressive that that's Angela's highest position since June 2007, over 14 years ago. So they are your game week 1 winners. Well done, everyone. And here are the game week 1 losers. Hide your head in shame. Greece Lightning manager Alexi Lagos and Megan Hoxley-Chamberlain manager Megan Hoxby. Now, you're going to think it's harsh, me putting Alexi Lagos in the game week 1 losers, given that he's second in the table. But what you've got to remember is Alexi spent the entire season last season top of the Family Fantasy Football League. So the fact that he started this season in second, I think makes him a justifiable game week 1 loser. As for his long-term partner and future wife, Megan Hoxley-Chamberlain manager Megan Hoxby has started the season in 29th. Now, this is the first season we've had 32 managers in the Family Fantasy Football League. The previous maximum number we'd had was 28. So naturally, 29th is the lowest position Megan has ever occupied, because it's never been possible for her to be that low before. And that makes Megan a game week 1 loser. Along with this pair, the Brothers Grimm, FFFL Cup holder Ted and Sam Jr. starts the season 15th. That is the lowest position Ian Sands has occupied since June 2002. Almost 2 decades since Ian Sands has been that low in the table. Along with Benny United manager Mark Benwell, a former Family Fantasy Football League number 1 rated manager, starts the season in 23rd, the lowest position he's occupied since the 27th of April 2018. And the Big Knobs manager Simon Hoxby said he'd already gone into the transfer market in game week 1, and it's because he's 24th in the table. Now, Simon has been in the Family Fantasy Football League for a long time. Long time. He's never ever been as low as 24th. And Poppy's players manager Sarah Simons is 27th in the table, and that is her lowest ever position in the Family Fantasy Football League. Never been that low before. Now, in the Meet the Managers series, when I was introducing you to Coldplay United manager Martin Maloney, I said that in his debut season he spent virtually the entire season in the relegation zone. Or maybe he spent all of it in the relegation zone, I can't quite remember. And then last season, in his second season, he had an unbelievable season, ended up finishing 3rd in the table. And I said it'll be interesting to see whether he maintains that form or he reverts back to what he did in his debut season. And it's not looking good. Martin starts the season in 28th place. You have to go back to the 16th of July 2020, over a year since Martin Maloney has been that low. And the Appleys United manager Marie Appley is 30th. Obviously her lowest ever position in the Family Fantasy Football League, because we've never had the ability for anyone to be that low before. Likewise, Nicola Anelka's manager Nicola Anelka, 31st. Her lowest position in the Family Fantasy Football League. And the final game week 1 loser, AFC Razor manager Ray Poulter, becomes the first manager to occupy the 32nd spot in the Family Fantasy Football League. This week's lowest scorer with just 9 points. Incredible. So they are your game week 1 losers. Now, the only good thing about being a game week 1 loser is it's a fresh week. We're in game week 2. You could end game week 2 as a game week 2 winner. So don't despair. It's very early days. What's in a name? Now, Never the Boys manager Jack Hoxby has been Never the Boys for 10 years now, but he was actually going to change his name this year. I don't know why. I quite like Never the Boys. Got a good origin story to it. God knows Jack loves an origin story, being a big Marvel fan. Jack had a big list of alternative team names that he was going to go with, but unfortunately, he didn't make his mind up before the 9 p.m. cut-off. So he's Never the Boys for another season. Debut manager James Holmes was rather, let's say, I'm deciding whether I go brave or stupid. Let's go stupid. It was rather stupid to call his team name Better Than the Diamonds. Because if you look at the league table, he's clearly not, because he's below Arden Diamonds in the table. And James obviously realised this as well, because he emailed in to say, could he change his team name to Class on Grass? Well, unfortunately, once the season has started, you can't change your team name, James. And in any case, I'm not sure I would have let you change it, because I'm going to have far more fun this season with the team name Better Than the Diamonds, or at least I suspect I will. And the manager who's got well, I was going to say the worst team name in the Family Fantasy Football League history, but he does now have a rival. But it's James Appley. He had promised to change his awful team name, Jimmy Savile's under 11s, but then reneged on that promise and didn't change it. And Pez United, let me rephrase. Ryan Perrin, manager of formerly Pez United, changed his team name to Finger in Hoe Rangers, which is now possibly the worst team name in Family Fantasy Football League history. What possessed him to change his team name, I do not know. I can warn him that he has incurred the wrath of I've Got a Life manager Mops Hoxby. But the lesson there is, don't change. Don't change. Give yourself enough time to consider your team name before the season starts, because you are going to be stuck with it for the entire season. Now, before I move on to the next section, because this is about the third take of this, and every time I move on, the video plays instantly. So, before I move on to the next section, as I mentioned earlier, we had our first video message this week. Now, I'm always telling you how banter in the Family Fantasy Football League is very important. We want people to take part and get involved. All that trash talking and winding each other up on the Family Fantasy Football League Facebook group. Love it. But we've also got to remember that we are a community of Family Fantasy Football League managers here to support each other, as long as you're not breaching the Code of Conduct rule, of course, and be there for each other. So I was delighted to receive a video message this week from one of our managers offering to help another manager in the league. For no reason behind it, just decided to reach out. Really lovely. I thought I'd share the video. Here goes.
Hi Jeff, something for Banter in the Box. Just started a great new service for the over 80s, free delivery. So I thought, first person I thought of was your mum. So if you want, you pass it on to her, saying it's free delivery on all her groceries for the over 80s. Fantastic service. I thought it'd be really good for her. If you pass it on, that'd be great. Thanks.
Well, there you go, Mark. It's passed on. Thanks very much for that. And I'm sure Mum will take you up on it. And that's such a good thing to do. I think that's worth a manager of the season point, mate. So well done. Predictor Challenge. These are the 7 managers that have had a guess at the Predictor Challenge. If you're watching this on the day it comes out on Friday, you've still got time to enter the Predictor Challenge. You've got to tell me who you think is going to come first, second, third and fourth in the league, who you think is going to win the Family Fantasy Football League Cup, and who you think is going to receive the wooden spoon. And Steve Holmes is getting the backing of most managers. 4 of the 7 managers have predicted that the number 1 rated manager will win his 5th Family Fantasy Football League title. 2 managers have gone for Alexi Lagos to retain it. Mind you, one of those was Alexi Lagos. And Jordan Williams, the Mad Hatter, the big head, has predicted himself to do the league and cup double. Well, he's won the cup a couple of times, but he's never won the league. He has finished runner-up. But he thinks this is the year that he's going to do the double. If he does, he'll be the first manager since 2012. I think Ian Sands was the last manager to do the double. So he'll be the first manager in 10 years to do the league and cup double if he does it. And Steve Holmes and Alexi Lagos have appeared in the top 4 predictions of all of the people that have so far had a go. So last season's first and second, still well fancied to do well. Jordan Williams appears to be the favourite in the cup. 3 managers predicting Jordan will win the cup, including Jordan himself. And at the bottom, well, Ray Poulter is currently bottom of the table, and the majority of managers think he's going to stay there. 4 managers, including his own son, have predicted that Ray is going to receive the wooden spoon this season. And 2 managers have predicted luck. Where's the K Williams is going to receive the wooden spoon in his debut season. And they're supposedly his 2 best mates. What's that all about? And great Uncle George Moody has stuck the knife in. He's predicted Marie Appley is going to win the wooden spoon. He's also predicted Nicky Saunders to win the cup. It could happen. And Joe Hoxby to finish 4th. Not sure about that, George. Jordan Williams predicting Steve Maloney to finish fourth as well. That was a bit of a surprise. But anyway, they are the predictions that we've received so far. Remember, you have the rest of today, Friday, assuming you're watching this on the day it comes out, to get your predictions in. Now, this was last week's Who the Fuck Is That question. 3 managers had a guess. Mark Benwell, Neil Hatch and Steve Holmes all had a guess at Who the Fuck Is That. And they all got it spot on, because it was Gobi Desert Canoe Club manager Pops Hoxby. 1 manager of the season point to all 3 of those managers, which means the manager of the season table looks like this. Steve Holmes has gone up to joint 4th on 2 points. Neil Hatch is now a clear 2nd on 7 points. But out in front, Benny United manager Mark Benwell. He was the manager of the season in 2020 and he wants to retain his title. Remember, £15 million in free tactical gambits are awarded to the manager of the season to be used next season. Last year's manager of the season, Joe Hoxby, has got £15 million of free tactical gambits in her back pocket to use this season. So that's the prize on offer for being the manager of the season. And remember, going back to the Predictor Challenge, you get 5 manager of the season points at the end of the season for every prediction you get right. So if you want those £15 million of free tactical gambits to use next year, enter the Predictor Challenge. Your chance to earn manager of the season points this week is another Who the Fuck Is That question. And it's a 2-point answer, but there's no way of scoring 1 point. You have to get both parts right to get the 2 points. So to get the 2 points, you need to tell me which current Family Fantasy Football League manager is pictured there and what part of their anatomy is pictured there. So tell me the manager and the part of their anatomy that is pictured there. And if you give me both correct, you get 2 manager of the season points. If you only give me 1 part correct, you get no manager of the season points, and we'll roll it over. So that's it for this week. The end of the Family Fantasy Football League opening week of the 27th season. It's been a good one. Remember, if you fancy having a go at an alternative Banter in the Box, then feel free to film it and send it to me. Obviously, it has to be related to the Family Fantasy Football League, and it has to be, in that Banter in the Box style. But if your video is funny and interesting, then I will post it to the Family Fantasy Football League Facebook group, unedited, I promise. If you've got any information that you think is funny or interesting about another Family Fantasy Football League manager, please send it in to me. If you wish to remain anonymous, just let me know and I won't reveal my source. And other than that, keep safe and I'll good luck for game week 2. Should be a big game week next week, because not only have we got the Premier League at the weekend, but we've also got the Carling Cup, I think it's called that now, whatever, the League Cup, 2nd round. That counts towards points, so it'll be an interesting game week 2. Stay safe, everyone. Bye-bye.